I was just like, I am beat. So what are you hearing? Still on the foundation? You're on some. Saw something else with voting. Yes. Yeah. And that's what people love watching. Right. Yeah. Yeah, that's good. Well, right. Yeah.
So, yeah. I will address this every time I say it.
I'm never doing this again, right? I would think, see, I would be constantly thinking about, am I gonna get enough people like give me things to, put into the auction? I'm stressed out about that. Yeah. Yeah, well, that's because of because the one auction I did that whole day I was just sitting in my kitchen and I stood and watched them and then I could press a so there's kind of a way. I don't know if that's super expensive or whatever. Yeah, I think it was. You shouldn't be going backwards. Unless obviously big surge of something just like twice. Well, the guy who does all my appliance to he's about younger than I am, I guess. He's a baby, like late in his 40s. And walking in my steps to He's like, he's not like super skinny, but he's like a mother. And so it's hard, you could definitely tell people who work that.
She was excited about.
Yeah, so it's interesting.
Read a couple almost.
Just good. But she was I lost my sense of taste. I didn't know. I just have like this.
It's not.
Then about a week later.
It's like, yeah. 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 Oh, yeah, there it is.
Should be perfect.
Right? It's like,
This is the best PTSO. So I was texting this person. She'll bring up all.
So we do have both official business to do as well. PTSO is a meeting where we elect our new officers. They're very important meeting because these people that serve on the committee are my right-hand people that keep things going for the teachers a lot, do a lot of things for the teachers, really support student achievement, student teaching and learning by giving grants and providing that support for teachers. So really very important. So people that are on will be vetted completely. I'll be doing a background check on everybody. And no, I'm just kidding. Oh, now getting wake up. But it is just really important. And in all my years, I just love working with PTSO. Way back at Morningside. And my first year there as principal. So really important people to me. And so thank you all who are stepping up to do it, or even those who considered it, or whatever. Really appreciate that. So, John. PTSO person, not here right now, but he was here. So maybe he'll be back and then we can go through that and give it another minute. So I don't really have I don't have an agenda at all today. This is kind of a chance for you all to ask me questions or share anything that you'd like to do. John, you want to go ahead or you want to wait a minute?
No.
Okay, I'm going to throw it over to John, who has served for 2 consecutive terms as our president.
Shocking.
Yes.
Okay, so how, we have people online, right?
Yes, and it's going.
Okay, so when we get to the voting section, we'll be able to count the people who vote online.
Who knows better than me? Anna, you know about this, Anna, who knows better?
It's on you. Did you say it's on YouTube?
Yes, it's streaming.
Oh,
So
there's no
streaming, so there's no back and forth. So
Right.
I mean, they can they email us?
Could you do comments? You can do comments on YouTube.
Comments. Can I do that?
Okay.
Here comes Ms. Hollis. She's my expert too, Ms. Hollis.
Yeah, that's the only one.
Did she send it to YouTube?
Oh, wait, shall we?
They can leave comments and
This is my turn. Pull in comments.
we're streaming now, right?
Yes.
So good morning, everyone. We have a short presentation. We're going to talk about the PTSO's year, and we have a quick vote on the potential members of the board presented to us from the nominating committee. So just a quick review. The PTSO works hand in hand with the administration to fill a lot of financial gaps that occur often in the public school year, and we really help the teachers, the administration, support and educate our kids and provide for their positive academic experience. So I'm not going to read all these, but these are just a small sample of a lot of the programs we help support. Very valuable. Kids love them, teachers love them, and we love supporting them. And we do more than that. And this is a summary of our financial expenditures for the year. And in our opinion, the 2 biggest ones are the classroom startup funds, which again, help alleviate the teachers' needs, having to pull money out of their own pocket to educate our kids. And Dr. Bachman, you'll like this. My father is a retired school teacher from Middle Tennessee, Williamson County. And in his day, if you wanted an extra piece of chalk, you had to go to the office, and the administrator would break the chalk in half and give it to him. and of course, he walked uphill both ways to school. So he would actually tell me that he had to give the piece of chalk back at the end of the day. So we really help, flesh out what our teachers can do in a room, and certainly better than in my dad's age. And we also support faculty and staff appreciation with lunches. Anna, Mary Daphne's not here. She really helps that, and I've got to serve a lot of the teachers here. It's awesome. And then fundraising and other school events, which we're actually going to get to here in a minute. So as you can see, we really do a lot for the school, and it's thanks to you all and your help and supporting us as well. So one thing we did this year, which was really awesome, was we waived the membership dues. In the old days, this was a larger component of our revenue, but we opened it up to everyone, which I think is a wonderful idea. And the dues are imposed because we sort of ask for a donation and we'll sign up, and then other donations round out that particular part. And then our largest component is something, thanks to Josh D'Agostino here, we really started during the pandemic. We lost a lot of the traditional revenue sources. So how do we come up with that gap? And we started this annual fundraiser at Town High School. And this year it was amazing. That's actually Josh. I'm really glad you're here. That's Josh in the blue tuxedo. Just fantastic. Really first year. We're coming out of coronavirus. Some people had concerns. We're hoping next year as we really kind of get into this endemic stage, we'll have more people. But it was fantastically successful. We raised over $65,000. Just huge lift, though. Huge lift. And one of the asks we'll have in the coming months and years is continued parental involvement, volunteers. etc. Not only did we have our local resources, we also had a huge community support. So this PTSO is supported by the community, and that helps so much when we again feed these dollars literally back to the school, helping our teachers and our administrative staff. Which brings us quickly to, this is our slate for the board of directors last year. If you are interested in serving on the board, you can nominate yourself right now. You do not have to be on the board to be a part of the PTSO next year. You can be an officer. You can, in the next slide, I have some contact information. Feel free to forward that along. Anna, in days past, Anna is our secretary. She's rolling off. I would have given you her name. She sort of handles all this. We can still do that for the time being, or you can take my email, what have you. Please reach out to us. We'd love to have your help. So this is our slate. As for the new PTSO guidelines, we vote as a membership group. Only members can vote. We vote on the slate. The slate is instantiated in June. June is our new year, beginning of the year. And then from here, we will select, the group as a whole will select who wants to do what as officer. So by no means are you signing up to do anything in particular. That can be assigned later. So if there are no other folks who want to serve on the board, anyone on YouTube?
No.
Is there a limit to the number of people?
No. And if you're on the board, you don't necessarily have to, you can choose your level of involvement at the officer level. So you can sit on the board and advise. The board helps the officers of the organization guide. We have traditionally met once a month. Make more complicated. This isn't even permanent. We actually have board members later. The board can vote to allow any more board members. This is an incredibly flexible organization. This PTSO structure is incredibly flexible.
We've also done our meetings a month ago this year. So if that's a problem, we'll get here. I imagine we'll continue that.
Do you need people?
No. And if you want to be involved later at a different level, we can make that happen. So, since we sort of abandoned Robert's rules of orders, we have a parliamentarian running this. Time for a vote.
Neither Ms. Minus and call the vote.
I make a motion to vote in the slate as presented.
Second.
Perfect. Before us, we have the slate. All in favor of these members board next year? Okay, all
Online,
opposed.
you want them to say like yes.
Right. If you're online, you can vote yes. I approve. All opposed? No abstaining. So the motion to move these slated members into board-elect members has been approved. Thank you. So please follow us. And again, I put my name up here now in my email. If you're interested, it sounds like there's some interest here, contact me. I will kind of move you around the right people. We will all meet. We're actively in discussions about when we can meet next. Summer's really busy. But two main ways, Midtown Nightly News, Ann does a great job with this, and our Facebook page, which I monitor quite a bit. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, swear words, please send them along. Email me. I'll work with Anna, as we kind of change roles and move forward in time. But we really appreciate your help. This organization is just fantastic. We love helping Dr. Bachman and her team. They do an amazing job, and it is a real privilege. So please be a part of it. Thank you all very much.
Thank you very much. So I'm wearing my soccer medal, girls soccer medal for being the state runner-up last week. was a first, of course, for the soccer teams. So that was really, really nice. And put up a good fight Thursday, but Champlain was just way too strong. Way too strong for us. So on that day. But it was a great season. Great seasons for just all of our sports. I'll say that in the last month, I've really felt really good about where we are as far as like everything's pretty much back online, from the theater, the arts, the athletics, academics, just really online. And what we're seeing is huge numbers of students really participating, but also coming out to be spectators, fans, audience members, just a lot of that. Kids really want to be together. They want to support each other. They want to support the school. Just a lot of school spirit. You know, I feel that. And it's just been really good to, I've just really noticed in the last month and a half, just things really feeling very, very good. We are in the still testing, as I said in my note last night, still testing. It's just, Midtown is such a huge thing with the milestones. Milestones doesn't even compare to the AP testing, which will go up until the last day of the school year. I think that's maybe one of the very, very last. A tremendous effort to organize this and the space that it takes, having to get substitutes so teachers can help monitor. It is a huge machine that makes this happen. So we give about 1,200 to 1,300 tests, AP tests. This is a lot. Of course, we're kind of are the AP school, I guess, in a way. We get the highest number of any here at any APS, probably. It's just a really, really big event. So I don't see that changing at all. It's just very popular. So, and the district supports that with a lot of financial help. As you all know, if you were at another school without the APS support, somebody would be paying $400 or $500 for the tests. So APS is very supportive of us with that. So, what would you all like to talk about, to ask about, or express anything?
Well, along those lines, is the district, are you hearing any noise from the district that they might re-implement any COVID protocols, or are they just going to let things ride out at the end of the year? Do you hear any comments from them?
Nothing. We haven't heard anything yet about next year. No, nothing at all. We have had a slight uptick in COVID cases Sunday and Monday. Yesterday, we had 8 students there, and then 1 teacher that also tested positive. So that's kind of surprised. We haven't had that in a long time. And that was self-reports, you know, not testing. So nothing yet. Nothing. I'm sure it's a wait and see.
I just was curious, I know this year you talked about this before, about kind of the especially coming out of COVID, or the new form of COVID, the mental health and wellness of the school community, not just for the students, but also faculty. And I just wondered kind of what you see for next year as priorities as we keep kind of trying to claw back to it.
So, as you all know, we've spent a lot of resources on mental health for students. The district has as well for faculty. There are a number of things that faculty can take advantage of. Mental health resources at no charge for faculty. So for the students, we have a lot of people that I brought on this year to support informally and formally. 2 grad coaches, full-time social worker, 4 counselors, Ms. Maxwell, who's the 504 coordinator, and she deals with about 250 students, 504 plans, which is a lot for her to manage. We have a couple of other people that help with, of course, we have Ms. Rivera, who is our bilingual community liaison. We also have Ms. Clay, who is from the district. Her title is disproportionality specialist, something like that. And so what she does is work with students that are really having problems, really behavioral, I guess. A lot of that is mental health, is coping back. So she's here full time. That was from the district. Next year, I'm going to add another person who's going to help with kind of mental health making schools successful, but the title is behavioral specialist, but that is not what that's just the title that I'm doing. This person is going to do a lot of what our counselors do, which is kind of on the spot mental health. You know, I mean, and when I say that, it's really just helping kids to cope in the moment and get back into class, helping them sort through kind of their emotions, what's going on, not full on therapy, but just really, okay, what's going on and how can we, I mean, the goal is to get back in class. Well, there are a lot of things sometimes stopping the kids. So that, and then we also have Chris 180, which we have 3 days a week. It's going to 5 days a week next year. We're paying for that. That's about $25,000 that we're paying out of our budget. So that will all continue. You know, it's been very helpful for the students. I think our student support area, the counselor's office is very much a student support. Students can come there when they need just a break. You know, we will do a real analysis at the end of the school year, maybe in a couple of weeks, and really see where we'll be successful and what else is needed. We did ask, I have a couple students I'm working with in the junior class that are very interested in mental health, student mental health. Right? So they did a survey with about 300 kids and just talked about kind of more of that kind of on the spot kind of student needs to go to talk to somebody about something that's bothering them. Again, not therapy, we're not, but really just kind of problem solving, breaking down the issues. So that's what I see this behavioral specialist doing, is really being just an open door, kind of, you know, helping solve problems. Kind of like you were a Peanuts fan, you know, Lucy had that the psychiatrist is in thing. I mean, it just kind of in my mind. Of course, those girls have no idea what I'm talking about when I say this. Oh, like Lucy and Charlie Brown. So it's that kind of thing. So, and the person I'm hired for that is a licensed social worker, but also a teacher right now. So I think that helps to have some therapy skills, but also what's really going on in school. So we continue to be responsive to that, and you know, always open to other suggestions too. With that. I mean, honestly, it's been all we can do to really try to take care of the students. I tell the faculty resources, APS, they send out resources all the time. You know, if teachers having a problem, faculty having a problem, I just refer them to those kind of resources. So.
We have Elizabeth Hearn, who might be wanting to help with programs.
Okay. That would be good. Can help with that. Good. With my Charlie, with my Peanuts. I was going to call it my Peanuts initiative, but yeah. So I'm really looking forward to that. I'll say one thing that I've done a lot more this year is really be available for students. I've tried to put that in the forefront over everything else, as have all of these counselor people, all the people I just mentioned, being available. You know, I've moved my office to the conference room, which is right on the main hall. And so students can drop in. It also allows me just to step out in the hall if class changes and just be available for kids if they want to have a question, something like that. My new office, which is really the same as the old offices, really kind of isolated. And so, and once they put that big A building, the A building right there, it's kind of dark. So, so I've enjoyed being out there, and I will continue that next year. You know, just being, so that's been, I mean, there've been some really bright spots this year for me, and, you know, because I need things to keep me going. You know, we've done it a long time, and every year is different, so it's been really good, and the counselor's incredibly available. All year. What else? We have about 450 kids, I think, coming in as 8th graders, which is about what we have. Huge classes, and we will. I'm not getting into facility. I'm not getting into that. I'm just saying the numbers increase every year.
What's the projected enrollment next year?
About 450.
But like total is the
Well, 1590 is what our projection is. We have about 1510 right now. But we base things on that 1590. So, you know, and I'm sure you as parents have tried to find kind of a new role this year too, as, because most of your kids were home for a year and a half. We only had 15% that came back last February. So it was a huge shock, everybody coming back. It really took a while. And then with COVID, just really overtook dealing with COVID, you know, at the beginning, coming back. No, but none of us imagined we'd be doing that. Our kids have missed 6,200 days of COVID related. That's, you know, all the contact, the positive cases, the days missed, and 5 to 10. That's a huge amount of days missed. So, you know, which will probably affect achievement in some way, milestones. You know, this will be our baseline year going forward. We're going to have no idea how to do. I know some of those tests are very challenging. It's like 9th grade biology. It's heavy content, and if kids have not been having a rigorous experience for a year and a half, it can be kind of overwhelming. So we'll see what happens with biology. American Lit as well can always be kind of strong. I mean, you would think we would do really, really well on American Lit. And we don't do badly, but it's just not what I would imagine from the school. So there's lots of theories about that. I do think there was an excessive amount of testing this year, from the mental health screener to MAP to SAT, ACT, PSAT, and then all the milestones, the AP, the unit test. I mean, it was just, you know, I have put in my request, said a number of times to the powers that be that this, especially March, was just ridiculous. Just ridiculous. And they're talking about next year adding pre-ACT, which I never heard of that, pre-ACT, pre-SAT, which I thought was PSAT, but no, there's a pre-SAT. We just do that. You know, so I'm really hoping that they listen, because, you know, the math thing was a lot for our kids, getting into that routine. The December scores were horrible, but that was a horrible time. Again, when I say horrible, relative, you know, just, but I'm really hoping I can bring this forward. But, you know, Eddie Go team can help with that. Yes.
I know you said the milestone is like 20% of their grade.
Right.
So if they don't do well, what other protocols you have in place?
Well, so Ms. Hollis, just talking about the end of course test and the 20%.
It just gets factored into the grade. So you average the current grade that they have with the teacher is 80%, and take that grade that they got on the milestone as 20%, and you combine them. That's how you get the total grade. You can't retake it. So you only retake it if you fail the class.
Yeah.
So whatever you get is what you get.
Yeah. We rarely have kids
If they
fail
fail
the class
class,
because of the.
yeah, normally if they fail, they were already failing. But if you fail the class, then you have to take that, like, we're in semester 2. So if you fail semester 2, you take semester 2's class over and the milestones associated with it. The only class that you add on in milestones 2 is if your child fails AP US history semester 2, then they have to take US history and a milestone. Other than that, it just goes as part of the class.
Is the end of course test the same thing as the milestone?
Yes.
So just to clarify, and I know that you don't know exactly what the board is thinking at all times, or yes, but is this, you're talking about this testing they will be adding to what is currently happening, and there's no talk of getting rid of any of the testing that they did this year?
So what I saw, the mental was adding this pre-SAT and the pre-ACT. That's what I thought. So adding, I have not seen any taking away of anything.
So as parents, if we thought maybe that might be well, could we, you know, our board member, our good team member, what would be the best contact? Both?
I would email downtown. I mean, that's where you Ms. Williams, Anita Williams is the head of schools, because she's the head of schools, and then my boss, Mr. Brown, assistant superintendent. He's extremely responsive. You know, he was a principal up until last June. He knows exactly what we're dealing with. So, you know, I mean, just say, from your standpoint as a parent, it just was excessive. You know, I think it's, I'm hoping that for certainly that seniors will not take the MAP test in March. That's not needed at all. So.
Well, as I know that my senior was particularly concerned about doing well.
You know, so I don't know what that number looks like, because he's like, mine,
Well, I think the district needs to prioritize. Okay, what is the most important? You know, this year, the mental health screener, that was really important. The MAP test to maybe to see where the kids were. You know, I just think a better indication is just how they do over the year in class and how they've grown and developed. You know, those are one point in time. I took my own kids, like my 8th grader, Devin, was just so worried about this end of course test, the 20%, she's in the algebra class, and she just got completely worked up over it. You know, I had to say, just stop. It's not, you know, it was getting me worked up, and, you know, I really had to say, you're going to do fine. You're going to do fine. Like I said, I can't even remember a time that Chance failed a class because of the end of course test. And it really is a small point. So I really had to, my own kids really work on, calm down. It's,
And I think when there's so many tests, it is harder for the kids because they don't understand. Like the first test used to just kind of feel like the final for the class. If you've done well on the class, you're going to do good. But if they took a math test earlier this year, where I mean, one of my children was in the first percentile and one of his math tests, and he's an AP lit, so clearly that's not. I mean, I just don't think he's seriously. But I think that for the kids, when you have all these different tests, and some of them you do well in, and some of them you don't, because you're not supposed to, they can't keep them. Sorry.
Isn't those tests, aren't they tied when the district rolled out last spring, when they're going to change the time of school? Didn't they roll out, this was their 3-year recovery plan, and we're going to do these tests for 3 years?
so the MAP, yes.
Wasn't that, so this is all tied to that, which I think, is it tied to federal funding that they got from COVID or not? Okay, good.
Maybe CARES.
Maybe CARES Act
Act,
originally.
yes.
Because that's-
Recovery.
this is all part of their, like, we're gonna make everybody do this for 3 years.
Yes.
And the math test, if I've been thrown out by looking at my child's assessment, is really not, it's where, how you're changing from math to math, right? So it can look, but it's kind of like, it really does seem like, to your point, getting them this year, fine, but maybe not really need it going forward the same way because of what they're measuring.
It's hard to use the data because, right, almost everybody went from here, September, December, March. I mean, never got back. And it is about growth. They're really only expecting a 3 percentage points growth. That's all we're expecting. It just looks so much worse when you get those things. But I mean, my kids too, same thing. They went, you know, exactly the same thing. I think December is a really bad time to test the kids because they have fun. It's the end of the semester, kind of this school. Finals are a big deal, you know. Kids, you know, they really internalize. I mean, they really. So I just, you know, just maybe if there's any communication downtown, just a better reworking of things and really prioritizing. Okay, we have this whole year of data now, you know, because, you know, like with the screener, the mental health screener that our counselors rolled out, you know, whenever you get the results back, and if we have 250 kids that are in elevated or extremely elevated range, every one of those children has to be met with individually. And then there's a parent phone call that goes with that. And can you imagine that time? That is, I mean, you can't even quantify the time that took to do that. You know, if that's the important work, then again, that's the priority. Then we have to focus on what the important work is. You know. Okay, what else?
I don't want to touch on some subject that seems like you want to avoid it, but now with a year with this building in place, how is it all integrated? It's from teachers liking the building, the structure and the operation and the kids, and it's been working really well. The design is right. How you use
The design is great. And, you know, and I think back to those go-team meetings 4 years ago, 3 years ago, when we were talking about what to do. And this right here was I'll say it's an add-on. It was reimagined. I mean, we were just going to stay in the media center where we were. And so this is, everybody was extremely impressed with this area. The classrooms are lovely. It's nice to have everybody together, or CTE all together, the foreign language teachers all together. It's like the language hall, which is the world language hall, which is really nice. And they were a good group. They'd love to really team together. So also what the bridges have helped definitely with a couple of stairwells that are just, they're not as packed as they were. That stairwell by the office, you just couldn't even move, you know, at class change. And also the one down by the end as well was really packed. So much better. The building is great. Just the normal kind of things are, you know, that are going on. You know, when you finish a house and the punch list and all that, still going on. You know, what we're finding is some of the things were, I think they were more installed for like a corporate environment, not understanding how kids can be very rough on things, and they were constantly fixing doors that are broken, like, and those gates outside are constantly broken, like with hinges, those kind of things. There were some things I just don't think they understood. 1,500, you know, 14, 15, 16 months what they did to a building. You know, the bathroom situation has calmed down a little bit. The vandalism in the boys' bathrooms, you know, it's a real problem. You know, and at the beginning of the year, we're still having problems with when we put soap in the bathrooms, kids. Boys, so, maybe it's girls in the boys' bathroom, but I don't think so. It's boys that they'll take the soap, they'll rip the soap dispensers off, but then they'll also like puncture the soap, so it's all over the floor. I mean, it's that continues to go on. And then you have kids and parents that are upset because there's no soap in there. Well, I'm saying, well, there's put soap in there, and it's, you know, so that's why really the teachers have hand sanitizer. You know, just, getting people to have better, more mature behavior has been a real challenge this year for us. You know, it's stuff that sixth graders do, that 9th and 10th graders have been doing. It's getting better, but that adjustment, you know, has been a lot for our kids. We all know the reasons, you know, but it's been a lot. So, but we do love the building. I love having a paved lot out there. You know, really nice. Yeah, I just love, I mean, I love everything about it. It's been really nice to come back to this, you know, really nice to come back to this. Other things? Yes.
I've been struggling with mine too, with the end of the year, and I'm getting constant phone calls and texts during the day. Can you call the office and let me come home early? Or like on SAT day too, everybody's skipping, and they were all skipping, so can I skip too?
Right.
It's just this constant battle for me, and when I say, you know, if they have an AP exam in the morning, can I come home in the afternoon? Well, isn't there something going on in your class? Aren't you studying for the next AP exam or reviewing for your final or something? They say, no, we're not doing anything, we're on our phones. I mean, they will text me from the class, we're sitting here, the teacher's not, I know one teacher's out with COVID, but we're sitting and nothing's happening. And they're busy, they're stressed, they want to, you know, they're working, they're doing other things, and it's just a battle. I wish that the teachers were 100% focused at this time, and that there was a serious review session going on that you don't want to miss, and you should be motivated. And my kids are very different, and I'm getting it from both of them, which tells me it's a problem.
I'm like,
And that's been going on
snapping.
all that. Yeah. This still school avoidance has been going on all year. With the checking out early, the coming late, disappearing, not checking out, disappearing, leaving campus without permission. It is, you know, I've got this list of things we're really going to hit next year, and we you we're gonna really hit that. You know, I don't like this time with the nonsense in the AP because it affects everything. And so you've got teachers that need to monitor, the tests. So they're proctoring, so I've got to get subs because you can't have subs proctor unless they're short teachers. And so it is very upsetting this time. And trying to corral everybody to stay in class, is a challenge. I mean, we're trying to get the teachers also to move off as, we're gonna a little bit move off the technology. Not just do technology work, Chromebook work all the time, that really shut the Chromebooks and do more of the face-to-face, working on that. But yeah, I mean, it's, sure, I mean, it's always a challenge this time of year.
I think in the past, we've had teachers who would assign a project or something, and that adds to stress, so that can be sort of a negative thing. But maybe like a group project in class that's a participation grade. If you're there, you get 100, this will help raise your grade for the semester, but you have to be present, you have to be there, and we're weaving in some review for the final at the same time. I don't know what the solution is, but something that's motivating for them, because they're very insistent that nothing is happening in the classroom that requires their presence.
I think that's, I mean, part of the reason I came to this was just to ask you what, I mean, I definitely don't want my kid, and I have a junior who's very driven, so he's not missing anything that he doesn't, like he wouldn't miss class because that's not who he is. But I mean, we got in like a full-on fight over text. I was so furious with him. And
Like during school, you mean? Like
during school, yeah. And I mean, I had to be like, I'm not talking to you.
I'm not talking to you.
Over text. I mean, what the heck is going on?
Yeah.
But so he's not going to be missing class if there's something going on. And I remember at the end of my high school, and I can only imagine that next year it's just going to be a lot worse. And I don't want him to be a hassle for you guys, but there are also times where I'm like, yeah, if you're really not doing anything and you've got a debate tournament tonight, yeah, come home. So I guess
When you, first of all, that scared me. Next year is going to be worse. Why?
oh,
Why?
because you're a senior, I can only imagine that.
Just seniors.
Yeah. Yeah, just he will be, then there will be even less
Motivation to stay.
motivation, right? And we
I
had,
was saying,
we had open campus, I think, and I went to a very small high school, and it was a totally different environment. But I do remember being very much, and I was probably pretty similar, like I kind of handled my own stuff. I don't ever ask them, have you finished your assignments or anything like that? Like it's his deal. And he doesn't miss stuff, but I also remember it was very much like, okay, I have to be here now. I don't have to be here now. And I can
making that decision, right?
right. And they're so on the cusp. And so I guess I just wanted to get a little bit of feedback because I know that that's not like he's one case, but you also have kids who are skipping a class and out in Piedmont Park, and that's a different. So I know that you're managing all of it.
So one of the things we really, really want to encourage our rising seniors, but also rising juniors, is to take advantage of the minimum day program. They can leave after third period. Remember, 32 credits is what Grady Midtown offers. 32 credits. You need 24 to graduate. So we have students that are just filling their schedule up with things they don't need. And this is not y'all's, I'm just saying what happens is then kids, it's okay, you're especially seniors, you're a senior and your fourth period class is oral communication, okay? It's a complete elective. You don't need the class. You're skipping half of the classes. Just don't take it.
Yeah.
Go home at 2. Maybe you go to a job.
Yeah.
You're busy in sports, very busy in sports. Go home, take a nap, do whatever, especially the kids that are taking a lot of AP classes too, you don't have to be here after 2 o'clock. It's this, and we're really finding that when I'm looking at kids that are skipping, I'm talking to them, I'm like, why are you taking this class? They don't know, you know, and our counselors really, so that's why we put it out to juniors and seniors this year to have minimum day. We sent that out in January, I think. We do have a number of kids that are taking advantage of that more next year. Really looking at the schedule. I think with kids STEM, I just think everything, so much has changed this year. You know, you go, right, you're stuck with their text and you say, can I come home? And you're like, why? What do you?
I just don't want to be asked
You know,
every day.
like, you're trying to figure out why, you know? And so I just think if you, people, they just, everybody has changed. And if we need to change with it really all for that, I really encourage your kids to, you know, they can then come back for sport, theater, they can come back. But they do have to leave. They have to leave campus if they do that. But it would help a lot with this kind of thing. They just, kids, they just do what they think they're supposed to do. But we've really started talking to them about this minimum day. And it works for most kids. It does work out in their schedule. I mean, there are some things you can't, because you have to have both 4 periods free. A and B, because of our C day, that's where most kids can do it. They don't need the credits. They end up taking like a CTAE class, another that they don't want to take. They end up taking these oral communication classes they don't take, they don't need, another PE. They really, we have to put them in a PE. They don't need the PE, that kind of thing. So, we're just trying to get through this year and see where things really are and what we need to do differently. It's really hard to do minimum day first period. I know a couple of kids are like that. First period, it's just, that is really hard to manage because then they start trickling in at like 9:30, and what do you do with them? No, they can't come hang out in here. They want this to be a college. It's not a college. And that's where we're really going to have to put some things in place next year. They're not going to be, they're not draconian, but there's going to be some change next year. A few things, we have to stop. I would prioritize, but all of this is important. The leaving campus at large, out of control. And I don't have people. This is not a prison. I don't have people that can manage every exit. I don't have 12 people that I can put 2 in that parking lot, 2 in that parking lot, every door. I can. I have to. With this school, you have to depend on the cooperation of the kids. The cooperation is everything.
Is there problems that come up late, or you just don't want them?
I don't want them walking to Piedmont Park to go get something to eat. That's what they're doing, is they're going to get something to eat.
It's like, I was thinking, when I went to high school, which was a very, very long time ago, the seniors were allowed, that was like, one of the benefits of being a senior was you could leave for lunch. I mean, is there like, maybe if that was something we did, only the seniors could do it, then the other ones maybe would kind of buy into the idea of, I'm gonna wait, I'm not gonna do it. And I don't know, I know there's safety issues and all kinds of stuff, but we were trying off campus. So this is
it's just a real problem. Safety is my #1 thing with that. I mean, we had a girl hit my car walking to Woody's in December. She hit my car going to get a cheese stick, whatever, This is a very dangerous area for walkers. And so, we're just going to have to really have to clamp down on that. So,
Well, speaking of safety, have you received any updates about changes to the 10th and Monroe intersection? Has the city coordinated with you?
about Monroe?
Yeah. So apparently they're planning on redoing the 10th and Monroe intersection this summer. That was the initial plan, to do it as soon as school gets out, reconfigure that whole 10th and Monroe intersection. but I think that would be lovely. But so have you heard anything about that?
Right. We're also trying to get some traction with the city on, out of the 10th, when you come out of the 10th Street lot. Well, also, that's the 10th Street lot. we just call this the gravel lot. This is the gravel lot. When you're coming in, if the kids are trying to do the right turn, the parking is too close to the driveway. And we had last week, I won't say a serious accident like that, but it was pretty comprehensive accident where, kid got hit by a person coming down, then hit another car, then hit another car, so we are working with the city on that to at least get something to block out one parking spot. We also have a problem with people every day parking in our lots to go to Piedmont Park and have a picnic. I don't know, it's faculty and staff and students only, but that's something that we're really fighting this year too. Parking is parking. Parking is parking. We don't have a garage. We don't have a parking deck. It is first come, first serve. For the students, we get numerous tickets over the last month. They're double parking in the handicap spot, which is $100 fine. And it's just, if there's not a designated spot, kids have to go in the neighborhood. They cannot park in the faculty, the A Street lot. I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah, there's an Instagram page for parking. Bad parking.
Pretty funny.
It's pretty funny. So you don't want to be on there.
Limited and had more than everybody in a spot.
Right.
And I don't know, that's another.
Yeah, that's another that has to be managed because, y'all, I really put so much money into teachers because I think that's what you want. You want class size. If we have to really go to managing the facility like that, I'm gonna have to buy Rent-A-Cops or something. I am gonna have to buy that. That's very expensive to do that. And so, we thought about the senior only thing or senior, but so many of our seniors, they're dual enrolled. So they're coming at all different times. So many are minimum day. So the part, then if we did that, then the parking spots would be empty for certain parts of the day, which is very tempting for people to park in. Again, we'd have to have somebody checking things all day and then issuing some kind of citation, taking away your parking pass. I mean, we just can't, there's so many things to manage.
But if someone's going to explore that, where would that fall? Is that a PTSO thing? Is that a go thing?
As far as what?
Just ideas for things like the parking lot, ideas for, again, to your point, you've got plenty on your plate, things that you can also, if you're trying to investigate how to keep students on campus at once, trying to investigate how to better manage parking lot safety, where would that best fall?
Parents that can work with the city for some things would be awesome. Like from things like repainting crosswalks, like that crosswalk on A Street is, you can't see it. So repainting the crosswalks, getting that done, that parking problem, because with people parking right up to the driveway, that's a big problem. It's a city issue.
So would that be
Go team,
Yeah.
that'd be PTSO, like, who would that be?
The Go Team's scope is pretty clear about what they do. I would rather push ABS to do what they're supposed to do than, as the principal to that. I just find that is not as effective as it used to be.
PTSO ad hoc committee on safety
Yeah.
and transportation.
Yeah, I think the way we did it at Howard is, I was on the Go team and I was working on those issues at Howard. And I was specifically told by APS that this is not a role of the Go team and I should not be working on that in my Go team capacity. So then I pivoted to working on it as a parent. But we did a lot of coordination with Councilman Baroki, and that was very effective. And we worked very closely with the Department of Transportation and having traffic studies and stuff done. So I think, to Dr. Bachman's point, I think the most effective way would be to work with Councilman Long. So get a list of the improvements that are needed. Present them to Councilman Long, help him coordinate with ADOT and get it done. But Mayor Dickens has made a big priority of, improving the coordination between APS and City of Atlanta. So I think that's the way to do it, is identify the improvements that are wanted, present them to Councilman Juan, and have him help facilitate and push it through.
Yeah, there's a student organization that's focused on just that, so.
Safety, walking.
Yeah.
We also had the same challenges at Spark, and we put together like the punch list with photos, with documentation, and every quarter I would send it to APS central office of where are we now, and it would work with, once we've gotten everybody on board with city council and other people, and then we did it. I just did it because I was on Go Team, but it wasn't, we got people's attention because of Go Team, and then it was really just being organized and giving them action items and holding them accountable to the things they said they would do.
I'm just wondering about the concept of an open campus for seniors, if you've ever had that, if you just think it's a non-starter because of the safety issues, if it's something that, you've ever
We can,
considered.
so open campus, you just made lunch, right? Basically, that's what you're saying, lunch.
Well, I mean, the way I remember it, also, if you had like a period, I mean, for this, particularly like this end of the year period where it feels like there is so much testing, and then, after the testing, we're not doing anything in this class, so if I guess the way I remember it, it's just, I could go home. If I didn't have anything going on at school, I went home. And I just, rather than me having to manage that process.
I'm not opposed to that at all, to looking into something. Again, it has to be manageable.
Right, you don't want the
resources.
Yeah.
But I'm not necessarily opposed to that. I
I
just
will
would have to-
say
I have to
from
ask.
a
Maybe it is.
reporting to the state perspective for attendance, then if you're absent like that sporadically and you're scheduled to be in the class, you're not gonna meet the 90% attendance rule.
Which is what, see, if you're in minimum day, that counts as a period on your schedule. So, it's about funding too, but if you can do the minimum day, it really helps. But there has to be some order to it.
Yeah.
And somebody made the point earlier, but psychologically to the underclassmen, that may become
Right.
a privilege that is enforced by the seniors, pressure on the underclassmen. You can't leave campus until you're a senior type of concept. I mean, there may be some other benefits. And maybe one of the things they manage is, the hours that they have to pay more attention to their own hours, whatever they have. Maybe, I don't know, if you can go online and figure out where you are on that schedule, but a senior who wants to leave class but has to graduate knows that they have to have a certain, they can probably manage that too. I mean, might be some things to figure out the protocol for that.
Check out, that using some technology to check out so that they're not absent. They're just exercising that open campus privilege or whatever that looks like.
Can you ask, is the last day for seniors?
With all, they told you like.
Tomorrow is the last official day for seniors, first and second period for final exams only. We sent out a calendar and email to parents about that, and there was a form that parents needed to fill out if they want the child to leave. So that's the last official day.
So we said Friday, is that what you said, Friday? Tomorrow, Wednesday.
So today's a half day, tomorrow's a half day, I got all that. My son is under the impression he does not need to show up on Thursday. I'm like, yeah, you do.
Well, Thursday, you really don't.
Okay.
You need to turn in your Chromebook and you need to turn in your ROC uniforms, band equipment, you need to clear your decks.
Okay.
But there is a senior calendar. If you go to the website under commencement corner, and so that calendar will tell you detail what the expectations are for seniors from now until graduation.
I saw it, it was just a little confusing.
What I mean.
And then you're
specifically-
trying, children.
That's the
confusing.
confusing.
Oh,
And
and
then
then
they
they,
turned around.
that changed.
Right, that's the confusing part.
So it's so sad. And so it's so sad.
Right, so Mr. Benson sent out an email yesterday or this morning specifically saying they have half day today and tomorrow.
Yeah.
Thursday is for devices, I think Friday, and I'm going off my memory. Friday is for yearbook party.
Yeah.
And then next week we start graduation practices in the morning.
That starts on Monday, next Monday, right?
Do you know how late those go? That's been practicing.
It depends,
Okay.
depends on the child.
It's mine is scheduling work shifts.
It
You know what I
depends on
mean?
their children. I mean, if they want to cooperate and sit down and listen and, around your kids, what you ask them to do coming in and out. I mean, that's what graduation practice is, and egress, ingress, and, I know the first day may be longer because we need to make sure we know how to pronounce all parts of names, first, middle, last. Phonetically get that down so the counselors are able to do it appropriately and won't make any missteps on graduation day. So the 16th, I think that's the date that we're dedicating to that. The other days are not as complicated as long as students come in, follow the directions, sit down, do what we ask them to do.
You think like an hour or two, or is it half day? Could be anything.
You
It's at
can,
least
your
two- I would say
former
it's at least 2
students,
hours.
that'll work out. The last time we did a formal graduation practice was 2019. But you have former graduates, so they wouldn't know. Yep.
Excellent. Need to ask Caroline. What did she do? Okay, so everybody understands, right, that are not seniors about Wednesday the 25th, right? It is not, children do not come to school, okay? Not come to school. So,
They do come Thursday. That's the part I want.
Thursday is right,
That
exams.
is picture.
Exams, right, exactly.
Do you know, this is another thing that bothers me, why do we always get graduation on like the Wednesday morning? Why don't we ever get that nice Friday one when school is, it's always North Atlanta.
Last year it was in the evening, right?
7.
Wasn't it at like 7
Yeah.
at Georgia Tech? This past year it was. This is a very unusual time for Midtown. Very, very unusual. Don't know why this time was chosen. Very odd, but we didn't have a choice to change. So this way teachers can go. It's just easier. Siblings, simple. So we'll definitely ask for later time or something. But yeah, it's a very odd time for Midtown. Very odd.
Is the school time, they started at 45 next year? Is that for like indefinite, the next few years?
It was that 3-year thing.
Okay.
I mean, that was part of the 3-year, right. And, school starts very, very early.
Yes.
August 1st.
Oh, God.
I'm not sure I'm coming back. It's gonna start the next practice. I could try to. That's my response. I do not want a week off in October and November. And January. And
It's
that's
10 o'clock. Anything else?
One final act.
Like on the, anybody throw something in there to ask or anything?
Next approval.
I just want to do one last fact as secretary of education. I wanted to have everybody who's a current board member or committee chair or something like that, stand up, raise your hand, acknowledge you. Come on, I know who you are. You have to be acknowledged. Volunteer to stay on the board or be a new board member if you could stand, raise your hand, and be acknowledged.
All right.
Thank you. Thank you.
You are welcome. You're very welcome. Thank you very much for
A
that.
lot of communication.